Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senapararatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we will get started. Today I have Irish breakfast tea, one of my favorites. I actually put it in my advent calendar that I sold this year. I did like a tea advent calendar, and I put all of my favorite teas and just a few that I really wanted to try, and then didn't keep one for myself. How silly am I? Like, I have no tea. I realize I still have tea, but I don't have any of my favorites, and it's kind of crazy. Anyway, so I finally got myself some Irish breakfast tea, and I have a popcorn ball. So now a popcorn ball is something that my grandmother used to make, and they are not good for you. They have no healthy ingredients other than popcorn, and they are really tedious to make. So now I kind of like hoard them because they are so difficult to make. My grandmother used to make buckets and buckets of them, and I thought, how hard could they be? They're very difficult. Maybe when I become a grandma I'll make them that much again, but until then we hoard them one piece at a time. Well, let's get real. I want to talk a little bit about prayer. Now, I realize I've only been a pastor for a year, but I have been married to the prayer guy for 29 years. And prayer has been something he has been teaching on since we got married. We got married and took a church 1 month after our wedding. And so I have been hearing and learning about prayer in my own life more than probably the average bear. So it's not that I don't know truth about prayer, right? Like, it is something that I kind of, my husband talks about set times and stolen times, and I have my set time that I spend with the Lord, and then I have my stolen times. There's a thing that I do, so when 1, 2, 3, 4, so 12:34 hits the clocks, I pray for a certain family. And when I started praying, those young men were very little kids, and even before they came into their lives, I prayed for their parents, and now I pray for the whole family at 1, 2, 3, 4, and I take that as a stolen time. And so I have different things in my life that remind me just to take a moment and pray. And I was on a walk, which has become kind of a theme, right? Like, for the last few podcasts, you're like, boy, Jenny's getting really healthy. Now, let's just be real. First of all, I'm eating a popcorn ball. There is nothing healthy about that. But second, I have not walked in a week because it is snow like an ice rink out there. And it's been below zero. And so anytime it's below zero, I do not go. That is just a rule I have, which seems like a good rule. So I was on this walk, and I had an issue that I was bringing to the Lord that really is so minute. I'm not even going to mention it here because you're going to be like, you're doing what, Jenny? I mean, the judgment probably is not going to be super high, but high enough that I'm not going to tell you. And so I was like, praying, and all of a sudden I was like, Lord, I just need you to keep this between the two of us. And I stopped and I went, oh, where did that theory come from? This year I have been trying to shed the light and the truth on lies that I've been believing. Actually, I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and I called it rewriting. And so anytime I find a falsehood in my life, I will bring it back to God. I will bring it back to the Bible, and I'll line it up and say, okay, where did this belief come from? Now, I realize that I have this thought process that was not taught to me by my husband or my previous pastors or from my parents. I have no idea where this came from. In fact, I think it came from a comedy routine. You watch some Christian comedians, and yeah, their content is good and clean, but you can get some funky theories out of what they say. So I have this theory that there's a ticker board, and it's like, John asked for a hangnail. So-and-so has cancer. Susie is depressed. Jenny is asking for. And it's like a ticker board that anybody can just kind of walk up and go, well, look what everybody's asking for. I don't know where this crazy thought has come from. I have no idea. I kind of do. But I'm not going to mention the person's name because you'll be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And so I just was like, oh, wow. So I stop in the middle of this walk and my dog is like, what's happening? Why are we stopped? What's happening? He's looking around like there must be something exciting. Mom has stopped. Yes, I call myself mom. It's okay, guys. I have a kid. Anyway, you don't care. I'm just in a very weird space today, but I stopped and I heard a few words that kind of changed things in my life. And so I want to share those with you. Here's the words. Jenny, I'm not a gossip. And I was like, no, of course not, God. I'm not calling you a gossip. I would never call you a gossip. Like, that is just, oh my goodness. And all of a sudden then you're looking for him to like send lightning down because you're calling him a gossip. And then you're like, okay, that's not correct theology either. Like, I am in the weeds over here. Like, living in complete fear of what God's going to say or what people are going to think or all these people in heaven. Like, what if my grandparents hear me praying this and they're like, oh my goodness. And it was just like, God was like, Jenny, your prayers are between, like, I'm not a gossip. I'm not out there like, announcement, I'm going to tell you that Jenny is praying for a hangnail. Jenny is praying for a hangnail. Like, that is not the God that we serve. And it's so difficult because we just do not have earthly examples of who God is at this moment. Jesus, when he was here, they would have seen the earthly example. A little jealous of them because we do not have earthly examples of who God is. No matter how good of a person you are, gossip happens. Like, I realize that you are probably better people than I am, and I am pretty tight-lipped. Like, I do not share much with many people, like even with myself. Like, I realize this is real life with Jenny and I'm supposed to be authentic and real, and I really try. But there are certain things that I don't share names. I don't share, like, I'm just really very careful. And I hear a lot of stuff, guys. Like, I know a lot. And it's very interesting to me because that's just not who I am. But I believe that God is, and that he's out there like, hey, John, come on over here. You got to hear this one. Like, this one's gonna crack you up. Like, that's not the God that we serve. And so it got even deeper for me. I got to be honest. It was like, you hear about God being a God of unconditional love. Let me say that again, unconditional love, because I kind of was thinking about something else and got my brain stuck. But unconditional love. They say parents have unconditional love. Yes, they do. Parents have complete unconditional love until about 11 p.m. And then I'm like, babes, I am exhausted and I'm going to bed. Like, love you to bits, but I'm done. Like, I am a human being and I am not God. God doesn't go, I'm tired. Can you bring this back to me tomorrow? Like, I'm done with your, like, you are seeping into me. And, with my daughter, I love her so much. And she's such a verbal processor that she loves to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I could listen to it all day until I can't. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, I'm like, I am not a person of unconditional love. Yes, in our earthly world, I love my daughter unconditionally, but it does not compare to God's unconditional love. God doesn't go, okay, you know what? Do you remember back in elementary school when they were like, no question is a bad question, ask anything you want, until you've asked about 6 or 7 questions, and then they go, figure it out, quit asking me questions. Right? All of a sudden you're like, but you said I could ask anything I wanted to ask. And they're like, yeah, nope, I really didn't mean that. You are I remember one teacher limited us to 4 questions a day. That was just, I think, because we were all like, what do you mean we can ask anything we want? This is amazing. Where did the dinosaurs go? Like, and she's like, we're not talking about that right now. It's conditional. Like, there was, yeah, you say you can ask anything you want, but you really can't. You are limited. And I realized that has seeped into my prayer life. That has seeped into my belief system, that I don't want to bother God with a hangnail. And then have used up all my asks for the day, and then I can't bring something bigger that comes to him, even to the point that like your girlfriends or your husband or your children or the people just in your life, they want you to be happy. And it's hard when you're not, right? It is hard when you're upset and you're having a bad day and you're going out with a girlfriend and you are like, I don't really know if I can just be me right now. And right now I'm a gloomy Gus. And I'm not sure that I'm really depressed. Like there's a sense of that sometimes, and that you put on a happy face and you pretend. And you sometimes feel like you have to do that with God. Like, God, I'm fine. Like everything's fine, but I have this little issue over here, but everything's fine. It's going to really be okay. Like I know everything's fine, but because I want to be grateful and I want to be thankful and I want to praise him. And like, what do I have to have a formula? And if I'm not grateful enough, will he answer my prayers? And I have gotten into some crazy thoughts, guys, some crazy thoughts the last couple of days, because more that I have just evaluated my actual thoughts. And that God is like, you do not need to come to me joyful all the time. It is okay to come to me when you are in the depths of despair. And I'm not going to go, hey, why don't you give me a little bit of thanks before I'm actually going to listen to you? Like, yes, it does say come into his courts with thanksgiving and praise. I get that. And I think that's really important, but it's not a formula. It's not if I give thanksgiving and I give praise, then I can be in God's presence. God is willing to meet you where you are and not share it with people, and to love you unconditionally and not go, you know what? I think you've kind of hit your quota for the day. Like you prayed for your 2 girlfriends and their lives are kind of blowing up, and I really don't have enough to actually deal with your stuff too. So can we put that on a priority list for tomorrow, Jenny? Like that's not how God talks. And I understand that a lot of you are like, duh. But we act as if that's the way things are. We act as if we cannot bring our hangnails to the Lord. And I get that sometimes when someone brings a prayer request to you, you're like, yeah, no, I'm not praying for that. Like, or you're like, okay, that's really weird. Which is why what my husband says is pray for them right then, take 30 seconds, pray for them, and let it be, is sometimes important. But there are other times that you just need to go before the Lord and say, Lord, I don't really understand what they need prayer for, but I'm going to bring them to you, because there is no limit to how much I can connect with the Lord. Did you hear that? There is no limit to how often you can connect with the Lord. There is no conditions put on your relationship with him. There is no, yeah, I'm tired, I'm going to go to bed. There is, I am here for you today, tomorrow, and forever. And I understand that God talks about being the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that has kind of just seeped into my heart in this last week. Because the God who walked with Adam and Eve and spun the world into orbit is like, hey, Jenny, there's no limit on how much time I spend with you. The God who met David and said, hey, let's defeat Goliath with a single stone, says, hey, Jen, what do you got? I'm here for you. I want to do good things in your life. The God that was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in the fire, after the fire, before the fire, he was not just with them in the fire, he was with them their entire time. Dealing with the king afterwards. He didn't just show up for that one moment and then disappear, like happens in Christmas movies, which I've been watching a lot of. Like there's this big miracle, and then, God is there the whole time. And that's the same God that's like, Jenny, I don't gossip about you. I'm not out there sharing what you're sharing with me. I am here to have a relationship with you. And I just wanted to encourage you this season as we're things can get a little crazy and it's hard to focus on one thing, with the Christmas season coming up, and there's so many pieces that you need to be moving and people you want to see and cookies that you want to bake. Okay, that's just me. Maybe not you. Maybe you just like to eat them. I don't know. I love baking them, not as much eating them. But just all those pieces, I just really encourage you that the God of the universe is unconditionally loving. There are no conditions on his love. There's no limit. There's no, hey, here's the formula you need to have to meet with me. There's no, I can't ask this because I asked about it before. You can continue to ask and continue to ask and continue to ask until the Lord says, don't ask that anymore. I've already told you no 6 times. And maybe then you ask, but Lord, why did you say no? I'm not understanding why you said no. I think my daughter and I have had conversations in the past that she's afraid to ask God because he's going to say no. And I think that's not the God we serve. The God we serve is not out there going, I am thinking, how can I get back at them today? He wants good things for his kids, just like you want good things for your kids and your family members and your loved ones. You want good things for them. And it says that the Lord wants good things for us the way we do, and we're evil and he's good. Like, it's crazy to me that we've put all these limitations on the Lord. And I just wanted to encourage you to rip some of those off, to shine some light on God's unconditional love for you, that God does not gossip and tell other people about what's going on in your life, that he is willing to listen to you whether you have the right formula or not. He just wants to spend time with you. And so that is my encouragement for you. Hey, take some time, steal some moments, and spend some time with God this week. Well, you can find me at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and on Facebook. Come on and join us. We are having so much fun. Well, at least I am. I don't know if anybody else is, but I'm having a great time. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/reallifewithjenny. All that's in the show notes. You can also go to christconnection.cc/Jenny. So super excited about this Christmas season, but even more excited as I begin to understand who God is just even a little bit more, that his love is unconditional, that he does not gossip, and he's not going to tell everybody about what I'm talking about, because you know what? Sometimes we have to talk to God about some really private things and our real deep, dark secrets that maybe you don't really want to even share with him. He already knows them, but to bring them to God brings light and brings a sense of healing that you will not even believe. Like, it has been so healing for me to be able to bring things that I was like, oh, I don't want to bother you with this because I've already asked my 4 questions for the day. And God's like, come on, I have no conditions on that. I am willing to be here for you today, tonight, midnight, 1 a.m., whatever you need, I am here for you. He does not sleep. He is there and does not get tired of hearing you call out to him. You all have a great week.